Sean Simpson of TSN 1200 tweeted on the 3rd of September, a few days ago. My source tells me frustration has set in with the Tkachuk camp. Brady is trying to stay positive, but doesn't understand why it's taking so long. I asked what he was offered, and it was turned. They have not received a legitimate offer from the Sens. So then I want to say it was actually the same day, Bruce Garriock, the same day, said, I guess Dorian was doing media, said, Dorian says they've had productive discussions with Tkachuk. Now, since then, on 31 Thoughts, the podcast that came out yesterday, Friedman said that he would be really surprised if Ottawa hadn't offered Tkachuk the sort of Shabbat framework of a deal around $8 million. I would be surprised by that as well. And it seems to be Friedman sort of speculated about they may want more than that, the Tkachuks. And sort of talking about that family knows the business, obviously, and all that, their father, Keith Tkachuk, may have heard of him, decent player for the Coyotes. Forget St. Louis, it's all about the Coyotes.
Not for Atlanta?
No, not from Atlanta, no. No one talks about Atlanta, come on.
So I will always remember him as a Thrasher.
And that's your prerogative. But anyway, but seriously, the Sens have a pretty important player here that I think the big thing was if there were two guys, and what doesn't help is this gets announced, or that all this is coming out as Batherson signs a big deal, which I think was a bit too much, to be honest with you. It might sort of ends up being just like the Colin White deal, which is probably overpaid and paying at the wrong ends of your roster. But first off, Tkachuk, I think giving him 8's a bit of a stretch, to be honest with you.
So what Mark Methot tweeted, I wouldn't be surprised if he's looking for a 3-year bridge at somewhere around 7, see where the team is going, etc. One of those situations where he wants to see the team is willing to spend to win. Sean Simpson, TSN, retweeted saying, yes, been told that exactly.
Okay. That's fair. If you're Ottawa, but I think willingness to spend, I think you can argue the Sens have started doing that lately.
Have they? I don't know.
Well, think about it like this. Yes, they refused to give Erik Karlsson the deal. It was a phantom thing. They gave Shabbat the 8x8. Again, they paid White. They paid Drake Batherson. And if Friedman's right and they've given him 8x8, that tells me they're pretty willing to spend. You
have to pay those two guys. It's not for me. It's you have to pay Shabbat and Tkachuk because those are the guys you pay. Are you will? I guess what I would be thinking is, are you willing to spend around? And there's 2 contracts that have gone more than 5 years that in recent years, which is Batherson and Colin White. They took on the Nikita Zaitsev contract.
Mm-hmm.
The Matt Murray contract was 4 years.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just to me, it's how much are you willing to spend? You want to be I don't know. Just to me, I don't know if they've proved that enough.
To defend the Sens, though, they're big guys that are coming, they're big draft picks.
Sure.
I always forget who's the young defenseman they drafted.
Sanderson
and that. Those are the guys that
I was gonna say Lassie Thompson.
Another guy. There are still important young players coming through. If you're the Sens, you think maybe I got to be careful spending too much now because I know those young guys are coming. I think the term to maybe see a competitive window in a few years is much more important. Because if you're the Sens, if you think about it, in 3 years, you could see Tampa Bay maybe start to fall off. The Bruins the same way. Yep. You would expect the Leafs are still going to be up there. Who knows with Montreal? You never know with them.
Right.
Detroit will be on the up and up. I wonder if there's also that sort of thing of you wonder what is the landscape of the Atlantic Division going to be in a few years, right? Now, I in that respect, I would understand him wanting the bridge. I just at some point though, I wonder. What do you actually come to here? Because we saw this thing of Kaprizov probably wanted to walk to free agency. Minnesota won 8 years. Now it looks like it's going to be around 5. We're waiting for that to actually happen. If you're the Sens, like you can't do a 3-year deal. Would that walk him straight to UFA?
That is a good question.
And
I
then
think
he just gives like a qualifying offer and tries to get the hell out of there.
that's what I
think
kind of
it's closer
feel.
to that.
Yeah, like what I kind of feel is that this is kind of like a Mark Stone situation because remember for so long they were saying that he was going to be their next captain if he resigns, if he gets that extension, and then when he never signed that long-term deal with them. He just kept taking the smaller deals. Eventually, like when they traded him, it might still turn out to be okay, but like looking back at it now, like Eric Brancham really hasn't made the same strides we thought he was going to make, and right now it's just. Maybe they're kind of feeling that where they don't want to go back into another situation like that with a winger that they view as a foundational piece.
Just about the spending.
Yeah.
It's to me, they didn't do much in free agency. Like they brought in Del Zotto for 2 years, Nick Holden. That's about it. Like they could have done more. Like they're still under the floor.
Really?
Yeah, by like $3 million, I think.
Well, they probably think Tkachuk's on the plane.
Well, yes, of course, Tkachuk can get that over there. But we've also been told that the team, like publicly, Eugene Melnyk has said the team is willing to spend. Or we're getting to that point. We're a year or two away from that. Yeah. And it's like, well, what are we doing? You just traded Evgeny Dadonov.
Yeah, that didn't fit though. That
didn't fit though. But yeah, that's fine. If it didn't fit, it didn't fit. But what are you going to do to improve the team other than just the young guys?
Yeah,
that would be my
fair
process.
Fair enough. By the way, did we ever really talk about why the heck Vegas took him on? Weird thing there. That's not a center. No, it's not.
It's not a center.
No, it's not. Anyway,
did they lose a winger? I don't remember.
They can't keep. They just love the wingers. They can't keep. Like when you're playing EA, and you're playing for the game, and you just keep signing any guy like that. Just it's like, oh, that's a good deal.
I'll tell you, I've been trying to rebuild Nashville for a couple of years, and I just signed a bunch of extra wingers. And right now I have this situation where like Tomasino's a 79, right? But like he's almost plateaued there. And it felt like to get him to grow, I have to play him in the NHL. But I have like Toffoli at an 82 overall just sitting there. And by the way, this is the last year. Like I swear, I've gotten all these good. Anyway, it's frustrating Nashville. But yeah, no, you just got like this axis of wingers. You're like, what am I doing? But Ottawa, get it done and put your fans out this misery.